Happy Thursday, the 11th day of the 11th month of the year 2021. It is Veterans Day. Today there will be a parade in Wenatchee. There wasn't one last year because of COVID, but it is back this year. Again, they'll be staging at the parking lot at Wells Fargo Bank at the intersection of 3rd Street and Chelan here in Wenatchee. They'll march down Chelan. They'll do a remembrance at 11:11, roughly, give or take a couple. It's a parade, so it's really hard to coordinate these things to the exact minute. But right around 11 minutes after 11, they'll have very solemn ceremonies at Memorial Park. They'll march down Arundo, and then they'll turn back up Mission and head right back to where the parade started. And we hope you have a chance to come down and enjoy the festivities. Of course, Veterans Day. No school today. Governmental offices closed. No mail. That stuff. We're grateful for our veterans. We'll talk more about that as we get deeper into the program. And it looks like it's going to be a dry parade. There's a big system coming our way, a big tropical band of moisture is going to just hammer our viewing area with heavy rains overnight tonight and most of the day on Friday, but it's not going to come until about 2 or 2:30 this afternoon. But by the time the sun goes down and overnight tonight, it's going to be coming down pretty good. Rain we haven't seen in quite some time. Details are coming up. News, a lot of that. Sports, a lot of that. Wenatchee High School still has one more football game to play. They'll be at Ziffel Stadium in Yakima tonight to take on the Davis Pirates. They were supposed to play Davis earlier in the year, back in October, but they had COVID issues with the program. But that's been taken care of. Neither Wenatchee nor Davis made the state playoffs, so they're going to play each other to wrap up the season. Of course, Eastmont and Moses Lake are in the 4A state playoffs, but they don't play until tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Wenatchee Wild is back after over 600 days of not playing hockey in Wenatchee. They're back tonight. The West Kelowna Warriors in town for games tonight and tomorrow. It's good to have the Wild back. We'll talk about that. Preview some Seattle Kraken hockey as well. Everything else that you need to start your day. And in the back half of the hour, our very own Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down earlier in the week with Congresswoman Dr. Kim Schrier and Douglas County Veterans Service Officer Sarah Simonson to talk about veteran issues, healthcare issues for veterans. Of course, they have the outreach clinic out in Old Station. They want it to get better. We all want it to be better. We'll talk about that both in the news and in the back half of the program. The sun is up. Sun came up at 7 o'clock this morning, about 3 minutes ago. So let's start our tour. First of all, we got clouds and low-hanging clouds just about everywhere. So we've zoomed in the cross camera just a little bit as we see at the center of the George Seller Bridge and the pedestrian pipeline bridge. We can see Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee. You can see Eastmont Avenue. You can't quite see Eastmont Avenue. You can see Baker anyway. Good morning to our friends in East Wenatchee and a little sliver of Wenatchee to the lower left-hand side of your screen. It is overcast and 37 degrees. And again, we're waiting for the rain. It is coming. Camera number 2. Oh, that's a cool view from our Omi Gardens camera. Look how low those clouds are hanging. How low can you go with those clouds? The Otavashian Bridge is there. You can see a great deal of the Stimilk Complex and a little sliver of Wenatchee near where the Wenatchee River flows into the Columbia. That from our Omi Gardens camera. That's a pretty cool view. A little foggy, but pretty cool. Camera number 3. Oh, here's a clear view because it's a low camera. That is the Arundo Rock camera, which is just above Lake Aniat. So we can use this camera quite a bit when it gets cloudy and foggy because at least we can see something. For instance, Turtle Rock, and to your right, those red blinky lights, Rocky Reach Dam. Good morning to our friends on Lake Aniat in camera number 4. Ooh, cool view. That's got to be the monitor camera. Looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley. That's a neat view. I like that one, Uriah. That is sweet. You can see the Sleepy Hollow area. That is nice. I like that. The Horse Lake Preserve, and yeah, that's cool. Good morning to our friends in Monitor, looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley. My oak tree in my front yard is pretty much now devoid of leaves, and whatever leaves are still hanging on my tree, I think are going to be long gone by the time we get to the weekend, because we have rain coming. Check out the satellite image from the National Weather Service. It starts way down in Hawaii, just north of Hawaii. It's grabbing all that warm air and all that moisture, and it's making a beeline right for the Pacific Northwest. There's a small ridge of high pressure in southern British Columbia that's going to knock it down to the south a little bit, and we are right in the bullseye. It's a deep plume of subtropical moisture. And so the first surge of precipitation will begin basically mid to late afternoon, and then the heavy rains will be overnight tonight into Friday morning. We're going to see we could see over a half an inch of rain, close to an inch of rain for the Wenatchee Valley. That is extremely rare. So yeah, the rivers and the streams and the creeks will be rising, as you might imagine, and the passes are going to have significant rainfall because they had all that snow over the last 72 hours or so. That is going to switch over to rain, and you're going to see some swollen creeks and rivers. They're keeping a very close eye on the Stehekin River, by the way. They'll be monitoring that very closely on Friday and Saturday, as you might imagine. But that's what's coming our way, and it's almost there. It's knocking on our doorstep, and by mid-afternoon, the rains will be coming. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. Here comes the rain. Again, it's going to hold off until about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Could see some light raindrops before that. We should be dry for the parade. We had a little bit of light rain overnight tonight. That is beginning to dissipate already. The rain won't come until late in the afternoon. We'll top off at 43 degrees, which is not really much warmer than where we are now. Our normal high this time of the year is 46 degrees. We'll get down to 39 for the overnight low tonight, which is very mild for this time of the year. And lots of rain tonight, right on into Friday. It'll start drying out Friday noonish or so. We'll get up to about 55 for the afternoon high. I told you this is warm air that's coming our way. 37 for the overnight low. And then on Saturday, we're going to be between systems, so partly cloudy, still mild from that warm air with a high of 51. Look how we're going to be close to record highs on Sunday. That's going to be awfully close. Our record high on Sunday is 60. We could be getting close to that. Lots of clouds, wet and breezy at times on Sunday and Monday with very warm temperatures. Then we cool back down to seasonable temperatures on Tuesday and then right back to sunshine on Wednesday. But the big story, the heavy rains. Again, it'll start about 2:30 this afternoon with light rain. By sunset tonight, about 4:30, the rain will be coming down pretty good. It'll be a wet commute coming home tonight. Rain all night tonight. Rain overnight into early Friday, and then about noon or so on Friday, this system will have petered out and we'll start drying out a little bit. But get ready for the wet stuff. We could use it. We're still in a drought, you know. Okay, to the mountain passes we go. Your pass report brought to you by D.A. Davidson, the strength of a trusted partner and personalized solutions to meet your financial needs. Good morning, Stevens. I'm seeing a lot of pavement there from our Stevens Summit camera. Right now, traction tires are advised. It is snowing on Stevens, but not particularly hard. Right at the summit, you're going to find some compact snow, slush, and ice on the roadway. Stevens, of course, is at 4,000 feet. So it's basically the last 5 or 6 miles in either direction as you crest the summit of Stevens Pass is where the driving is going to be at its diciest. Again, traction tires are advised on Stevens. To Blewett we go. Again, courtesy of our friends at D.A. Davidson. I'm seeing a lot of payment, even though they have traction tires advised with some compact snow and slush in places on the roadway. Blewett looks pretty good to go. Snoqualmie, you're fine. It's just raining, and it's going to rain all day in the mountain passes. And tonight, snow level is going to go way up there. 6,700 feet is the snow level. So for the passes today, it's going to rain, and it's going to start coming down pretty hard about noon or so. This is the same system that's heading our way. They're going to get about an inch of rain today in the mountain passes, 2 to 3 inches of rain overnight tonight. There'll be lots of standing water in the Cascade passes tonight. More rain, 1 to 2 inches of rain on Friday, rain on Sunday and Sunday night. There's no snow in the forecast until they get to Monday night into Tuesday. It's going to rain and rain hard, and temperatures will be in the 40s in the mountain passes. So get ready. Make sure your windshield wipers are good to go. They are going to get a workout if you're driving into the mountain passes today. Again, traction tires are advised on Stevens and Blewett. No advisories, no restrictions on I-90. 9 minutes after the hour. In 1 minute, the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, you know, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
Hey, Ellie, what's troubling you? No one cares about insulation.
Out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
But it's just so effective and inexpensive. It's one of the best ways to warm your home. Cheyenne's PUD $1 per square foot rebate can often pay for the cost of a DIY blow-in installation to an attic. So are you gonna check out the rebates at CheyennePUD.org/save today?
Yeah!
Can you help me down? Let's go to CheyennePUD.org/save today.
Cloudy, foggy, 37 degrees. We're dry right now. 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon, you'll start seeing the rain coming down. By 5 o'clock, it'll be raining pretty good. Rain all night tonight. Rain into Friday morning until we start drying out about noon. And kind of unsettled but very warm weather expected for the weekend. We'll start with this story. Law enforcement in Okanagan County arrested a suspect and 2 alleged accomplices on Tuesday night in a string of armed robberies in Omak that date back to October 24th. Okanagan County Sheriff Tony Hawley said his office and the Omak Police Department worked together in identifying and arresting that man, 33-year-old Stephen V. Vasquez of Omak. Vasquez was allegedly involved in a high-speed chase Sunday after police responded to a robbery call at the Omak Chevron, but he was able to escape on foot after he abandoned his vehicle at the Wenatchee Mall. Now, Hawley said they were able to gather information from the vehicle, and that led them to identify Vasquez. On Tuesday, officers and deputies arrested Vasquez at his home on East Grape Street. Vasquez was booked into the Okanagan County Jail on 4 counts of first-degree robbery, 4 counts of first-degree kidnapping, 2 counts of first-degree assault, unlawful imprisonment, second-degree theft, reckless endangerment, and felony eluding. In addition, Moses Lake residents Stephen Vasquez Sr., 56, and Barbara Riley, 53, were booked for first-degree rendering criminal assistance. The charges stem from the October 24th robbery of the Stampede Mini Market, the November 4th robbery at the Jackpot Food Mart in Omak, and the attempted November 5th robbery of the 76 station and the Sunday Chevron robbery. 14 COVID-19 vaccination clinics for children's ages 5 to 11. They're a go. They've been scheduled for the next 20 days in Chelan and Douglas counties. The first 2 of these will be this Saturday in Wenatchee and in Chelan. The Chelan-Douglas Health District and Lake Chelan Health will be offering the Pfizer vaccine for the first time to that age group. Now, Saturday's clinics, Lincoln Elementary will be the location in Wenatchee from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Chelan Fire Station in Chelan from 9 a.m. to noon. Future clinics begin Monday in Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Aniat, Arundo, and Mansfield. Now, the Health District is asking for pre-registration for vaccinations. You can do that through the websites of Lake Chelan Health or the Chelan Douglas Health District website. Demand, as you might imagine, already high. A lot of available vaccine appointments have already been booked into next week. COVID-19 infection rates remain high across our state, as do hospital occupancy rates. State epidemiologist Dr. Scott Lindquist says vaccines for kids under 12 have arrived just in the nick of time because COVID-19 cases among our youth are also on the rise.
We've had 7,400 cases in Washington state in kids, and Northeast Washington being the hardest hit in the state. So it's not equal across the state, but the rates in kids are incredibly high. It's like 390 per 100,000. These are rates way higher than we were used to speaking in the general population early in the pandemic. So we're at very high case levels, even though they are showing some decrease. The good news to this is that we are starting to see some increase in our what we call community immunity, or either natural immunity or from vaccination.
8th District Congresswoman Dr. Kim Schrier is asking how veterans in the Wenatchee Valley and in our area can be better served by the VA's community-based outpatient clinic in Old Station. Long wait times and delayed referrals to specialists are among the complaints her office has received. Representative Schrier joined our own Jefferson Robbins in our studios earlier this week to talk about that issue.
Veterans have had trouble accessing the care that they need and that they deserve for a really long time. So about 15 years ago, we got the community-based outpatient clinic, which was supposed to be this big win for veterans here. And in some ways it has been, because now veterans don't have to travel all the way to Spokane or to Seattle, and yet it's been really hard for them, and even more difficult lately, to get through on the phones, to access the online portal, to have that portal not crash, to get in for an appointment, to see a specialist, even to wait for a pair of glasses. So there have just been a multitude of frustrations that I'm looking to get to the bottom of so that I can help solve the problem.
And you questioned the Deputy Secretary for VA during that hearing, and maybe you've made other inquiries as well. So what have you been able to learn about what might be causing these backlogs or these unavailabilities?
It was really just a fact-finding mission. Our veterans are having trouble. We got to get answers. It seems to be related to these things. One of them might be the new electronic health record called Cerner. One might be just employees leaving and disillusioned and feeling burnt out. But what else is there? Like, how can we get to the root causes? And it's been interesting for me to look at as a physician, because so much is being blamed on this one healthcare platform. I don't mean to get getting too much in the weeds, but it seems to be even deeper than that. And so we're looking at things like implementing a new system, a system that works well at my old employer and at Madigan, but is not working well for the VA, and figuring out why they even have different systems. If you've got a system that works, why aren't our veterans getting that system? And when people get frustrated with an online portal, where do they go? They go to the phones. And so then there's an unbelievable volume of phone calls, and there's just frustration all around. So I'll be taking this back to Secretary McDonough and pushing and pushing until our veterans are happy.
And the CBOC here in Wenatchee reports to the manned grant-staffed VA Medical Center in Spokane. Has that center, or VA generally, been able to provide any figures for you roughly on how big these backlogs might be? How many veterans are in the queue still awaiting for this kind of help?
They have not given that information. And in all fairness, I don't know if they know. I mean, you call a certain number of times. We even had our staff call just to see how bad this was, and it's really bad. People just give up, and we can't have that happening. They had our backs. We need to have theirs.
We'll have more, by the way, on this VA healthcare issue in the back half of this program. Emergency managers are closely watching the weather. As I've already said, significant rainfall is heading our way in the 25-Mile Creek. Of course, they had the wildfires, and that creates a threat of mudslides with the heavy rain coming. So Chelan County Public Works has set aside a load of sand and bags for property owners to shore up their land. Residents along the creek drainage can pick those materials up at Lake Chelan State Park. You got to fill the bags up yourself. Here's hoping you won't need them. And finally, the long-running Apple Cup Cafe Community Thanksgiving Dinner is back on. It'll return. Of course, it didn't happen last year because of COVID-19. The Chelan restaurant announcing Wednesday that their free dinner will be offered from 11 a.m. to 2 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. Last year would have been the 24th straight year for the dinner. As many as 1,500 community members annually show up for the meal. You got turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberries, the whole 9 yards. The restaurant, by the way, is looking for volunteers to work both in-house and to deliver meals to people who are unable to make it. It's free, and they just do it because they love the folks in Chelan. That's just cool. I'm glad to see it's back. That's the news at just about 19 minutes after the hour. Jefferson Robbins will be in the anchor chair tonight. Eric Grantstrom handling sports. And with the preview, here's JR.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Jefferson Robbins here. Coming up tonight, you can expect coverage from today's Veterans Day Parade here in Wenatchee. Also, the Chelan County PUD has some good news about how well salmon are surviving that passage through one of its major dams. I always wondered what that ride would be like. For that, plus more stories, weather, and sports with Eric Grantstrom, join us tonight, 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. I'll see you this evening, Dan.
Yeah, I'll be handling the weather forecasting. Not particularly well. I'm no Grant Olson when it comes to weather forecasting. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. You can use our Facebook app. You can call us directly. You can email us directly. Or you can go to our homepage and fill out the form, and we'll get it right here at the Broadcast Metroplex. When we come back, high school volleyball, high school soccer, the playoffs are underway for the quest for state championships. We'll also talk about Wenatchee Wild hockey, Kraken hockey, and we'll preview tonight's Wenatchee Panther football game against the Davis Pirates. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Our experience experience with NCW Life has been amazing.
People think television and they think it's this huge production thing. It's really expensive.
It's crazy how affordable it is. I couldn't believe it.
It's not as expensive as we thought it was going to be.
I would say I was really surprised to see that it was actually comparable to radio ads or print media.
It was really affordable.
What is the address of your emergency?
Yes, it's me. It's my husband. I think there's something the matter with him.
It was a feeling that I'll never forget, like being able to meet them and know that he survived.
Okay, tell me what's happening. Is he conscious?
No, he's not. He's
not. Okay, take a deep breath for me. I'm getting you help.
Rivercom means to me that I still have my husband here with me. They're the ones that guided me through saving his life.
"21 minutes after the hour, sports. Tenasket, they're moving on. The Tigers victorious in the state 1B, 2B girls soccer tournament yesterday. They slayed the St. George's Dragons 5-2 in Tenasket yesterday afternoon. The 7th seeded Tigers now move on to the quarterfinals this weekend. They'll take on 2nd seed Kalama. Meanwhile, top seed Okanagan now knows who they'll face in the quarterfinals Saturday afternoon in Wenatchee. Adna edged Cleellum Roslyn yesterday 1-0. They advanced to face on the Bulldogs. That'll be at 1 o'clock at Leiboftel Field at the Apple Bowl on Saturday. It's an early wake-up call for the Nannies this morning. The State 1B volleyball tournament in Spokane, in Yakima. Pateris will take on Shoreline Christian in a win in advance or lose and go home match at 8 o'clock this morning. That's like in 40 minutes from now. If they win, they'll take on Mossy Rock this afternoon at 1:30 in the Sundome. Waterville-Mansfield will take on Nia Bay today at 1:30 in the first round. Win or lose, the Shockers' next match will be at 8:15 tonight. And they could be playing against Odessa or Wilson Creek or Republic. We don't know. It depends what happens earlier in the day. At the State 2B volleyball tournament, Manson's first round match gets underway at 9:45 this morning against Tri-Cities Prep. Win or lose, the Trojans will face either Liberty or Goldendale this afternoon. At 5:15, Okanagan will take on Toutle Lake this morning at 11:45 at the Sundome floor. The Bulldogs' next match will be at 5:15 this afternoon against either Rainier or LaConner. The Columbia Basin Big Nine came out with their all-league selections. 9 Wenatchee Panthers on the team. Trey Jagla, first team all-offense. Camden Lloydhammer, first team all-defense. Wenatchee coach Scott Devereaux says the meeting to select and vote on the all-Big Nine teams between the coaches is always interesting.
Basically, you nominate the guys you believe are worthy of an all-league. Some discussion ensues, and then a vote. You can't vote for your own kids, and then it just kind of lays out. If you get 10 points for a first-place vote, and 6 for a second, and 3 for a third, I think. And where the numbers fall, that's where kids end up. First, second, or honorable mention. And it's always different. Every year is a little different. I assume. Typically, the top 2 or 3 teams should probably have the most guys nominated. And I'm always a little shocked sometimes when a team that has 1 win or 2 wins nominates 11, 12, 13 guys. And I always kind of, if you have 12 or 13 all-league players, you should be pretty good. And we have coaches that do that, which I never understand.
Jagla was selected as a first team on the offense, even though he didn't play very much this year. He missed most of the year with a hand injury. Coach Devereaux says the coaches remember what Jagla did as a sophomore and a junior as much as anything.
And I think part of it with Trey was he was really good as a sophomore, and he was all league as a sophomore, and some coaches voted for him based on that, And you can watch film. Like I voted for number 7 from Davis. We haven't played him yet, but I can see on film. He's a really good football player. I wouldn't have voted for him for MVP, but I did vote for him for first-team running back because I could tell that this guy's a dude. So I think a guy like Trey gets votes because they know that he's the best center in the league. But it was tough. When I nominated and I talked about him, I said, some of you guys he didn't play against this year because he was hurt. And then I think it was Coach Don said, yeah, but I saw him play a whole game with one hand. I'm like, yeah, he did. The first game of the year, he played with one hand, and he's just a great player.
Wenatchee travels to Yakima, the gateway to Moxie tonight to take on the Davis Pirates. It's the last game of the season. Coach Devereaux says He's happy he gets to spend one more week with his team.
I enjoy every day hanging out with these guys. You know, you can really tell our players like each other. You know, last night after practice, I had to kick them out of the stadium because they're just hanging out, playing catch, throwing the ball, walk out, close the gate, and they're still hanging out in the parking lot. And, you know, go home. It's cold, and I want to go home and eat dinner, so go home. And they just like to hang out. So it's nice to be around kids that enjoy each other. You know, I've been on teams where that wasn't always the case.
So the Panthers, their season ends tonight, of course, for the Eastmont Wildcats. The Moses Lake Chiefs, they're on to state. Coach Devereaux says he and his fellow coaches in the Big Nine kind of shake their heads when it comes to, well, how the teams on this side of the mountains are seeded in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the seeding, we have our top 16. It almost looks to me like the RPI didn't have a lot to do with it. Especially when we saw, you know, the RPI of Moses Lake and Eastmont was pretty high. You know, they're both around that top 10 or under. And then to see them go 15 and 11 or whatever didn't fit right, you know. And I know there's a human element to that whole process and the seeding. But the fact that our number one team, Moses Lake, who played pretty darn good football, lost to two really good teams early in the season, ended up where they are, I don't think quite fits, you know. And I think Eastmont could have been seated a little better too. But I also know that as long as I've been here, that the other side of the mountains seems to get a little more press. There's some really good teams that have won the state tournament from this side of the mountains. You know, Chiawana, Several, Pasco, Richland, Lewis and Clark. G-Prep's going to be in it, I think, this year. Has a true shot. So the fact that some of those guys are on the same side of the bracket doesn't make sense to me either.
Well, take a look at it and see for yourself. Here is a comparison between the final RPI ranking by the WIAA and the seeding in the State 4A tournament. Only two teams were seeded with the same rank they had in the final RPI. That's Eastlake and Skyview. Eastmont's RPI was 12, but they're seeded 15. Moses Lake's final RPI was 16, and they were seeded 11th. One thing Devereaux knows for sure, though, about tonight is that Ricardo Acevedo, the league's MVP, going to give his defense fits.
I think we're both about the same. I do know they have the co-MVP of the league, which you don't see very often from a team with their record. But number 7 is a great football player. He plays running back and linebacker. He looks great on film, and the coaches at the All-League meeting spoke very highly of him. And so we know we got to stop that guy for sure.
The Panthers and the Pirates, 6 o'clock kickoff tonight at Zeffel Stadium in Yakima. In the meantime, of course, Eastmont will play at Eastlake tomorrow. At 7 o'clock, and Moses Lake will travel to Spokane to take on Gonzaga Prep. We'll have more of a preview of the Wildcats coming up tomorrow. It's been 615 days since the Wenatchee Wild fans last saw their team play hockey at the Town Toyota Center. That streak comes to an end tonight. The Wild will host the West Kelowna Warriors in BCHL action. Wenatchee's been on the road, of course, in Canada for the first 8 games of the season because of COVID travel restrictions. The two teams also play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Tickets available by going online to WenatcheeWildHockey.com. And finally, the Seattle Kraken try to get back in the win column in NHL play tonight. They will be hosting the Anaheim Ducks at Climate Pledge Arena, 7 o'clock. You can watch the game on Root Sports Northwest. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday, this Veterans Day. We're not going to do an obscure holiday. It's Veterans Day. There's nothing obscure about that. Of course, it was originally Armistice Day, declared by President Woodrow Wilson 1 year after the conclusion of World War I on November 11th, 1919, which is 1 year after the conclusion. He proclaimed it Armistice Day to honor the servicemen who served their country in World War I. But it didn't become a national holiday until Congress got off their rear ends and declared it one in 1938. Only Congress has the power to create federal holidays. And it would remain a holiday just for World War I veterans until President Eisenhower signed the bill into law that would make Armistice Day Veterans Day. So for 35 years, it was Armistice Day. Then it became Veterans Day on June 1st, 1954, and it's been Veterans Day ever since. It has always been celebrated on November 11th, except for a 7-year period in the 1970s. They had what was called the Uniform Holiday Act to put all that. That's why we have, Labor Day where Labor Day is. It's always been moved around and Memorial Day is always the last Monday in May, and Labor Day is always the first Monday in September, called the Uniform Holiday Act. And so for 7 years of the 1970s, Veterans Day was the fourth Monday of every October. Nobody much cared for that, so they moved it back to November 11th back in 1978, and it's been that way ever since. Veterans Day parade this morning in Wenatchee. Thank you, veterans. 30 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Gottfried Leibniz is my enemy. Gottfried Leibniz. Never met him, don't know him. In 1675, on this date, November 11th, 1675, Gottfried Leibniz demonstrated integral calculus. I cannot wrap my head around this. I can't do it. My brain doesn't work that way. Algebra, math in general, algebra, calculus, that's integral calculus. Gottfried Leibniz is dead, but I still don't like him. It's my fault. I don't understand this stuff. I do understand the state of Washington. We're 132 years old today. Yay! Happy birthday to us, November 11th, 1889. 132 years ago today, the state of Washington was admitted as the 42nd state in the United States. Fun facts about our state. 90% of all the red raspberries grown in this country are grown in Washington state. 3 out of every 5 apples grown in this country is grown in the United States. We are number 1 in the production of pears, which is Cal's favorite fruit, hops, and cherries, number 1. We're in the top 5 in the production of apricots, asparagus, peas, grapes, lentils, peppermint oil, and potatoes. We're in the top 5 there. The state of Washington, of course, is one of only 7 states that does not impose a personal income tax. We have a sales tax, and everybody I know prefers the sales tax to an income tax. We are second in the nation in the production of wine. Only California produces more wine than Washington state. We are second in the nation for internet access to your household. We are number 2. A lot of people have high-speed internet in the state of Washington, and we're growing. The 2020 census says about 1 million people moved into the state of Washington between the years 2010 and the years 2020. We've gained about 1 million in population in just a decade. Happy birthday to us. We talked about the end of World War I. Well, this is the 103rd anniversary of the end of World War I. November 11th, 1918, Germany signs the Armistice Agreement in a railroad car deep in the forests of France. It's all over. The numbers are sobering and stunning. The total number of deaths, military personnel, anywhere between 9 to 12 million. Nobody really knows the exact number. The civilian death toll, how many citizens died in World War I, anywhere between 6 to 13 million. Again, the numbers are kind of soft. The Allies, our side, lost 6 million men from the military. The other side, the Central Powers, lost about 4 million men. About 2 million people, mostly soldiers, died from disease, and the most sobering number of all, from the casualties of World War I, 6 million people just disappeared. Presumed dead, but they went off to fight and nobody knows what happened to them. 6 million people went missing, presumed dead, in World War I. 102 years ago today, it was a dark day in Centralia, Washington. It has been building up for a long, long time. The industrial workers of the world, the Wobblies, got into a scuffle with the members of the local American Legion. Now, both the Wobblies, the IWW, and the American Legion, both were full of World War I veterans. This was just a year after the end of World War I. There was an Armistice Day parade for the first armistice. Things got out of hand, shootings, rioting, looting. 5 people died on Armistice Day in Centralia, Washington. It made the national news. Labor unrest was a bad deal. And finally, you've probably, if you've been around for the last 2 hours or so and been channel flipping or reading the news, you know that this is the 100th anniversary of the dedication of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, dedicated by President Warren G. Harding at Arlington National Cemetery. When it was dedicated on this date 100 years ago today, they buried an unknown soldier from World War I, and eventually they would inter an unknown soldier from World War II, from the Korean War and the Vietnam War. In 1998, due to the advent of DNA technology, they disinterred the Vietnam War unknown soldier, and they did a DNA test, and it turns out he was First Lieutenant Michael Blasey of Missouri. His body was disinterred, returned to his family. He was buried in St. Louis. The original crypt that Lieutenant Blasey was buried in at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers remains vacant. And they will be doing solemn ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery today on the 100th anniversary of that sobering monument. Let's do birthdays. Seems to be a lot of war going on. We'll go ahead and wish General George S. Patton a birthday today. He was born in the state in 1885, died in complications from a Jeep accident, broke his neck in December of 1945 at the age of 60. His troops loved him, his superiors not so much. He was always in hot water with his superiors in the United States Army. He was promoted and demoted and all kinds of different stuff. He was a character. The vast majority of Americans, all they know of Patton is the movie Patton, as portrayed by George C. Scott. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie, but that's all people think about now. It's worth looking into. George Patton, born in the state in 1885. And Leonardo DiCaprio, he's got an Academy Award, a couple of Academy Award nominations. He's supposedly beginning into some businesses making synthetic diamonds. We hear that rumor all the time. Leonardo DiCaprio is 47 years old today. We still have a lot to get on. We got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. Also, Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down with Douglas County Veteran Service Officer Sarah Simonson and Dr. Kim Schrier, our representative from the 8th District, to talk about the issues that veterans are having with the local VA. It's a problem. We'll have that in the back half of the hour as well. But first, Paws for Pets. It's Thursday. Lawrence the dog needs a home.
This week on Paws for Pets, Jenny Ulrich, the volunteer and outreach coordinator for the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, introduces us to a retriever Australian cattle dog named Lawrence.
Lawrence is about 2 years old. He's a young, active, fun, playful guy. He's what we call our playgroup rock star here. So he goes to playgroup and plays with probably majority of our dogs here at the shelter. So he's just got a really nice play style to him with other dogs. He seems to be able to match our shy girls. He also plays with our rough and rowdy males. Overall, Lawrence is just such an awesome guy. He loves people. People are his kind of thing, but he also likes other dogs. He'd probably make a great dog for somebody that's active, that wants to go hiking, walking, running. Lawrence is just he's truly one of your gem of a dogs. He's what we call our unicorn dog because he's just so good with everyone and other animals. And yeah, you're pretty great, aren't you?
If you are interested in meeting and adopting Lawrence, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for quiet hour. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Counterplay inside, picking his way back to the 10, to the 5,
High school sports is back, and NCW Life Channel's got you covered. Tune in for football, girls soccer, and volleyball right here. Thanks to our sponsors, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Rivercom 911, and Sangster Motors. Follow all the action of high school sports on your local TV station, the NCW Life Channel.
14, they come back.
In a world afraid of technology, one man, one show will bring you the newest innovations that may just change your life. This summer, Ray McNeil and your Weekly Tech Update is your Weekly Tech Update with Ray McNeil.
When I was about 16, I got in a relationship. He hit me for the first time in front of his daughter. He physically abused me in front of my children. I couldn't do it no more. Sage was there for me when I needed them. I didn't hear a lecture from them. I didn't hear anything, but just acceptance. And that's what I needed at the time. And they help you with everything that you need to move on in life and heal.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. So a friend posted on Facebook that Jesus was a socialist because he told us to feed people. Well, I mentioned that there's a difference. Jesus told me to feed people. He didn't tell the government to make me feed people. So, of course, some people jumped on my case for being, geez, self-righteous, blah, 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 whatever I don't know. But look, you can attribute Jesus to your economic philosophy or your political beliefs, right or left. But it's not a question about whether Jesus is on your side or not. It's a question of whether or not you are on his side. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow. We have live bands to rock the night away, comedy to make you laugh, and if that's not enough, we have poker every Monday and Wednesday night. Club Crow in Cashmere has it all. Check out our Facebook event page for dates and times. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
At Wenatchee Powersports, we proudly offer the Polaris product line. Polaris builds the highest quality side-by-side in the industry, with off-road capability that's second to none. The Polaris pre-order program allows customers to purchase the vehicle they want without having to select from limited dealer inventory. The Wenatchee Valley has year-round access to some of the best ORV trails in the Northwest. Start your adventure here at Wenatchee Powersports.
44 minutes after the hour, it is Veterans Day, and veteran service members have a lot of people and a lot of agencies whose sole purpose is to help veterans, but it can be difficult to find the right resources. Our very own Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down with two people who want to do something about it. 8th District Congresswoman Kim Schrier and Douglas County Veterans Service Officer Sarah Simonson. They're ready. They want to help connect vets with the services that they need, and according to both of them, local veterans' biggest need right now is a health clinic system that works.
Veterans have had trouble accessing the care that they need and that they deserve for a really long time. So about 15 years ago, we got the community-based outpatient clinic, which was supposed to be this big win for veterans here. And in some ways it has been, because now veterans don't have to travel all the way to Spokane or to Seattle, and yet it's been really hard for them, and even more difficult lately, to get through on the phones, to access the online portal, to have that portal not crash, to get in for an appointment, to see a specialist, even to wait for a pair of glasses. So there have just been a multitude of frustrations that I'm looking to get to the bottom of so that I can help solve the problem.
And you questioned the Deputy Secretary for VA during that hearing, and maybe you've made other inquiries as well. So what have you been able to learn about what might be causing these backlogs or these unavailabilities?
It was really just a fact-finding mission. Our veterans are having trouble. We got to get answers. It seems to be related to these things. One of them might be the new electronic health record called Cerner. One might be just employees leaving and disillusioned and feeling burnt out. But what else is there? Like, how can we get to the root causes? And it's been interesting for me to look at as a physician, because so much is being blamed on this one healthcare platform. I don't mean to get too much in the weeds, but it seems to be even deeper than that. And so we're looking at things like implementing a new system, a system that works well at my old employer and at Madigan, but is not working well for the VA, and figuring out why they even have different systems. If you've got a system that works, why aren't our veterans getting that system? And when people get frustrated with an online portal, where do they go? They go to the phones. And so then there's an unbelievable volume of phone calls, and there's just frustration all around. So I'll be taking this back to Secretary McDonough and pushing and pushing until our veterans are happy.
And the CBOC here in Wenatchee reports to the manned grant-staffed VA Medical Center in Spokane. Has that center, or VA generally, been able to provide any figures for you roughly on how big these backlogs might be? How many veterans are in the queue still awaiting for this kind of help?
They have not given that information. And in all fairness, I don't know if they know. I mean, you call a certain number of times. We even had our staff call just to see how bad this was, and it's really bad. People just give up, and we can't have that happening. They had our backs, we need to have theirs.
Well, we talked about the inquiry in Congress. Are there other steps you've been able to take on your constituents' behalf to try and help them resolve these problems?
So one of the things that anybody listening should know is that your member of Congress is there specifically to help navigate federal agencies that can be a real hassle to navigate. So we have helped many veterans who just called our office get an appointment with a specialist, get the equipment they need, get through. So yes, if you feel like you are banging your head against a wall to deal with, whether it's the VA or Social Security or you name it, call our office.
Tell me about Douglas County Veterans Services and the kind of things that you're able to do for veterans.
One of the main things that I have to do is manage the Douglas County Veterans Relief Funds. So there's a portion of the home taxes that go into a fund. That fund is specifically set aside to help veterans in need. Those Veterans Relief Funds can help with a veteran who has an unexpected medical bill or needs a small vehicle repair to get to medical appointments or a job. Help with electricity or gas, anything. If a veteran finds themselves in a rough situation and just kind of needs a little help out of it, that's what those veteran relief funds are for. The other main part of my job is helping veterans get connected with federal benefits through the VA, either the VA healthcare system, or VA benefit system, or survivors of veterans applying for burial reimbursement.
How many veterans are you working with in Douglas County? Whether that be a number of people who seek your help or people you're just aware of who are veterans in Douglas County?
Well, according to my metrics, the things that I've been able to keep track of, since January 2019, I have assisted at least 1,000 veterans. And those are just the ones that I've actually done casework for. That's not answering the phone and answering questions or talking with people or going to events to help with information. The veteran population in Douglas County, last I knew, was about 15% of the people living in Douglas County are veterans, and I would consider that a rather large percentage of people in that area. Not all of them seek help. Not all of them attempt to get benefits from the VA, either through healthcare or benefits along those lines. And a lot of them don't even understand what's available for them. So that's something else that I try to do in my office, is let people know that not only my office exists, but as a veteran, there are certain things you're eligible for.
How many of those folks do you think have come to your office seeking help with their VA medical claims?
Well, when it comes to VA medical, I can help people get apply for it and get the eligibility in that way. I've helped about 45 veterans apply for VA healthcare, and there are other veterans who've come seeking other assistance who were either already in VA healthcare or were fortunate enough to have other options, either through private health insurance or things along those lines. So yeah, about 40 of the people that I have personally helped get enrolled in the VA healthcare system.
Now, you came into the VSO position after military service of your own. Can you tell me about your military service?
Yes, I served January 99 to December 2004 in the Air Force. At first, I was a security forces patrolman, so I was patrol cars and gate guard duty and armory and things along those lines. I had the opportunity to cross-train into financial management and found out that I like desk jobs a lot better.
So the financial management end probably helps dealing with those veterans funds that we talked about earlier.
Yes, it really does help. Part of my office is to make sure that I cover the budget. My office is funded totally by those veterans relief funds, so I have to ensure that they are available for the relief claims that come in.
Now, Wenatchee is fortunate enough to have a community-based outpatient clinic for VA medical services here. And as you say, you can sometimes help veterans get started on making their medical claims. When folks here are seeking aid through our local CBOC, what are some of the issues or complications that they encounter in terms of getting their medical claims fulfilled through our local office?
Well, since we've moved here in 2009, both my husband and I are veterans, and we're already enrolled in the VA healthcare system, so we re-registered in the local area. The main problem that we've had, even just since we've been here, is for some reason the phone system. When you call the number that you're given for the local Wenatchee clinic, you are not connected with somebody at the front desk at our Wenatchee clinic. You're connected into some sort of a phone tree in Spokane. And I have no idea how it happens, but myself and my husband both have somehow ended up talking to a pharmacy tech in Walla Walla, or somebody in Idaho, or somebody in Oregon in the VA system, simply by attempting to call our local clinic. And so that has been one of the largest problems and continuing problems that I know of for our local clinic, and I don't know why that's in place or how to fix that, but that's one of the main things that always comes up. The next thing would be that there is timely access to appointments, and I know this has become a federal issue. Literally, they have said, hey, you have to get people in, and the VA has really tried to help get that so that veterans get appointments set within 3 weeks, if I remember correctly. Well, you can get a response and get that appointment set within 3 weeks, but that doesn't mean that appointment itself is in 3 weeks. So the VA can meet their metric of saying we're meeting this need, but the veteran themselves actually doesn't end up getting in for 2 or 3 months. The other thing is access to community care. The way the VA handles community care, they contract in our area through Tri-West, which is an insurance company. So the VA themselves contract with Tri-West, and Tri-West contracts with local providers. Those local providers have to jump through flaming hoops and mountains of paperwork and months worth of waiting time to be considered a provider in the community for a veteran. So not only the providers are having a problem getting connected with Tri-West to work for the VA, the veteran themselves can be confused in how exactly that works. So a veteran cannot just walk into a local chiropractor's office and say, I get my care through the VA, would you please give me care? The veteran has to contact their primary care provider at the VA. That primary care provider has to put a referral in. That referral, if it's going to be in the community, has to go through the community care office in Spokane, who then contacts the veteran to ask them their preferences, takes those preferences, gives them to Tri-West, and then Tri-West takes those preferences, contracts with the local contractor, who may or may not directly get in touch with the veteran, or Tri-West will get in touch with the veteran. It is just an amazing pile of just confusion and paperwork on both ends of things. And in that, it takes weeks or months for a veteran to get a chiropractic appointment. And if you apply that to behavioral health issues, that's not good. For prescriptions, very not good, especially if that is a life-saving prescription that you need.
Are you able to help a veteran who comes back to you and says, my call won't go through, or my appointment is deferred for months and months? Are there other steps you can take?
Not personally in my office. That's not the area that I have access to, in a way. There are caseworkers at the local clinic and patient advocates at the Spokane Medical Center. Then I attempt in my best ways to refer people to them, because they're within the VA healthcare system and they can help with any follow-up when it comes to those kinds of things.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent at Springwater Insurance Group. And at Springwater, we really enjoy being independent, because what that means is that we become an educator and a teacher for Medicare plans, in fact, all plans. So if you have questions about perhaps changing your coverage, going to a new plan, at Springwater Insurance Group, we can teach you all your choices. And we give you the option, would you like to give us a call, maybe have a Zoom meeting? Whatever way works best for you, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group.
For more than 56 years, Crown Furniture and Mattress has been serving North Central Washington with the same principles we were founded on, offering the best quality, great value, incredible comfort, honesty, integrity, and of course, made in the USA. Because so much of our inventory is made in America, it has alleviated a lot of the shortages companies are experiencing nationwide. We are overstocked and ready to deliver. So stop by and see us today or visit us online at www.crownfurnitureandmattress.com.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Couple minutes to go on this Veterans Day here in the Wenatchee Valley. Don't forget the parade. It'll get going at about 10:45 this morning. They'll be staging it at the Wells Fargo parking lot at the intersection of Chelan and 3rd. Down Chelan at about 11:11, they'll do some ceremonies involving the American Legion Post 10 Color Guard and things like that. Then the parade will continue. There'll be the Eastmont High School Marching Band will be participating, the Wenatchee High School Golden Apple Marching Band. So if you have an opportunity to come downtown, we invite you to do so. And it looks like we're going to be dry for the parade, but boy, starting about 2 or 3 o'clock, here comes the rain. We want to show you the satellite image one more time for the National Weather Service. This is a bunch of subtropical moisture that started just north of Hawaii, and it's taken dead aim at the Pacific Northwest. Is building up in intensity, and we are going to see rain like we very rarely see here in the Wenatchee Valley. All of our viewing area is going to get rain, and the rain totals are rather remarkable. Now, as far as the timetable for this, it's going to start raining about 2:30. By about 4:30, right around sunset, just in time for the afternoon commute, it's going to be raining. It's going to rain all night and right on into Friday morning. It should be tapering off about 7 or 8 o'clock Friday morning, but between then and now, we are looking at some big-time moisture coming out of this system that's heading up from the Hawaiian Islands. So from the National Weather Service, here we go. Rain, again, light rain about 2 or 3, heavy rain starting about 5. For today, upwards of 1/4 of an inch of rain possible today, and then overnight tonight, all the way into Friday morning, an additional 1/4 of an inch, maybe even an additional 1/2 inch of rain is possible. So after this system is coming and gone, we could have 3/4 of an inch of rain, which is a lot of rain for us. And look how warm those temperatures are going to get on Friday. Friday will be dry for the most part. The rain will be done by about 8 or 9 in the morning. The clouds will be hanging around, and look how mild it's going to be. Look how warm it's going to be Sunday and Monday. Yeah, we got some warm temperatures coming up. And that's it for us. Have a good Veterans Day. We will see you tomorrow. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.